remember how you felt like you didn't know if you were doing it right? You didn't know what was gonna, like, you had an idea what was gonna happen because of what you watched on Cinemax. Man, stop lying. You know you watched Cinemax, fool.
Connected to Sales Remastered.
Whew. Hey, if you don't see me going at it in the Instagram stories, man, I don't know what to tell you. I fucking try to invite you like 982 times. No way, I apologize, I backed that up. 983 times, 84 being this one, trying to influence you. Say, hey, bro, I got the answer that you're looking for. It's over there on the IG feed at Sales Remastered. And right now, if you're listening to this, you'd be like, man, I wonder what he's talking about. Boo-boo, go make an account. If you just happen to be that one person that you know what I mean, like you don't have an IG account, you and your girl got an IG account. Hey, I can't even hate on you because I was the exact same way. You know, I lived through my wife's feed, right? And then I realized that, hey, this is more than just being social. This is more than just sharing what you ate. This is more than just, you know, a motivational meme. This is actually a person's way to share value. And so that's what I hope to do here in these episodes, is really share some value. And you might be like, but D, who are you to give me value, bro? What makes you so special? Not a damn thing makes me special besides the fact that I'm growing the courage and training myself to have the discipline to consistently share a message that you will find is consistent. And the reason why it's consistent is because anything that's true and worthwhile should be consistent. That's it in a nutshell, boo-boo. What are your thoughts on that? Because you're going to find that as you climb in different environments, you are going to find or maybe spot or witness people doing it the correct way. You're going to witness people doing it the right way and wonder how they do it the right way. And sometimes you may be too, how can I put it, too introverted to ask them, hey, what's the right way, or too introverted to go to certain training classes or ask around because you don't want to feel like, you know, you are needy, right? Like maybe there's ego. It's not even introversion, it's ego. And so you believe that your tactics from 98 still works, and you perceive that no one else knows what they're talking about, and you block yourself off from all this hate. And I got to tell you something, that you're actually anchoring yourself. Have you ever seen a buoy? Like my son saw a buoy in the beach one time and he thought it was a beach ball, like floating out by the pier. And I'm like, no, that's a buoy. So no, that's a volleyball. Someone hit their volleyball around. I'm like, no, you know it's a buoy because it's just sitting in place, meaning the waves are moving, right? Everything else is moving except that ball. You see, if it were not anchored, the ball would move with the waves. But the problem is, though, is it's anchored, meaning that it has something holding itself down. And so I think many of us have these quote unquote buoys, our anchors per se, instead of it being a ball, like a volleyball. You know, our anchors look like excuses. Our anchors look like fears. Our anchors look like ego. And so these buoys per se anchor us and keep us back, or keeps us still. And so when we see these movements from people that are sharing value, or people that are giving a alternative option that's outside of your comfort zone and saying, hey, if you want more results, you need to commit more action and more discipline. But because those are waves that's moving in one direction and their anchor holds them back, like that volleyball, their volleyball is what ultimately becomes their excuse, their ego, their stubbornness. Makes sense? And so when you look around your sales floor right now, there are a lot of volleyballs. Those volleyballs are typically below the middle line mark on your sales chart. And so when your manager sends your team the sales chart, or when your VP sends out your division's sales chart, you can simply cut it halfway down the middle, right? Like go right in the middle, dead spot in the middle. And then everyone below that mark are stuck by anchors. And I know this, and you might be like, oh, but D, it's not their fault. They don't got no experience, bro. It's not their fault. They're part of this team, or they have to leave early. Again, that volleyball, which is that anchor that keeps the person stagnant while the waves move, it looks very much like excuses. That volleyball looks just like ego. That volleyball looks just like justification as to why they can't win and how others are winning, right? It's the excuse. And so I believe that we all in some way, shape, or form have some form of anchors or some sort of volleyball or some sort of weight that's keeping us down. And that's ultimately, the topic in this video, in this episode is really, being anchored, right? And I think that if you put two and two together, being anchored in itself is very much like memory, right? Like we are kind of anchored by our memory. So we hold ourselves back because of things that we reference, things that our brain storage is as data. And I call it memory because it's something that we already know. It's something that, or at least we believe we know. And yesterday I actually had this meeting, and I'm gonna upload the video this weekend. The sound quality is boo-boo though, man. The sound quality sucks. I'm learning. Right, whenever I do these sessions, sometimes I just grab the nearest device closest to me. A lot of times it is the cell phone. And, I got like this little Shure mic, which I use, on this, when I do my vlogs. But this time, in this training session with these customer service agents, I didn't have this, right? It was in my car. And so, but I did have like this conference mic, and I thought it was the coolest thing, right? And I'm like, all right, man, this is gonna be dope. This is gonna be dope. And I used it on my camera, and the sound quality came okay, but I guess on an iPhone it's just a whole new different story. Anyway, apologize in advance. I did what I can to fix the audio, so do your best to listen to it. But where I'm getting at is I met with these customer service agents that don't have a license yet, and they are in the position where you and I used to be, or maybe you are right now. And that's that's right. Remember, and I use this example of when you first hooked up with somebody, right? Boy, girl, whatever your flavor is. The very first time you hooked up with someone, remember how you felt like you didn't know if you were doing it right? You didn't know what was like you had an idea what was gonna happen because of what you watched on Cinemax. Man, stop lying. You watched Cinemax, fool. Anyway, you felt like it was right. You got a little Woody or whatever, and like the thing's going, you got the slow jam in the background. You're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. But still, you had this nervousness, this excitement. You were looking forward to it, and all you hoped for was that you don't fuck up, or that the other people like you. And so depending on where we're at, like I remember I was like that when I first got my license. I was like that when I first got onto a sales floor for the first time doing a new thing. Everything was new, and so when everything is new, all you can look towards is the experienced ones to kind of guide you, right? That's your guiding light. And so let me give you an example. When you first got your NMLS license, you basically referenced people, and this is where your memory comes in. And so you're referencing maybe top producers. The reason why you wanted to get in real estate is because maybe your uncle or your uncle's friend or your uncle's friend's mailman's fucking ex-girlfriend used to be a loan officer, right? Or however you memorize it, or however you were introduced into, the mortgage banking role of needing an NMLS license. And so you were influenced most particularly by the income, or maybe the freedom, or maybe the fat paychecks or commission checks, or being able to have the freedom to make your own hours. Whatever influenced you, and this is where your memory comes into play. But mind you, when you started, you basically looked towards the experience. And so these sales agents who were not yet licensed but are on the borderline of getting their license, they're in a different environment than those who were barely getting their license 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago today. And this is a good example of how things just change and evolve, but one thing remains the same, and it's the buying habits of consumers. And so I want to show empathy and also take you down a trip down memory lane. And it's important that I share this message. It was an hour-long coaching session that I planned to break up in like 9 or 10 different like pockets of content, but because the audio is so poor, I mean, it's you can hear it, but it's like, I don't know. You decide for yourself. It'll be uploaded this weekend. And I hope that you have the patience. I hope that you give it the time to listen to the words and you try to digest the message, especially if you are a newer agent, or you're a customer service agent trying to climb to get to where, you know, you can have a license and you could be a loan officer. Or even if you are a newly licensed loan officer and you're finding yourself in a challenge of like, damn, did I miss the boat? Or if you're a seasoned loan officer and you're like, damn, are we going through 2008 again? Or damn, like, you know, like what happened? Is it, you know, there's just, it doesn't necessarily need to mean that you are new to the game. My reason for saying it's important to listen to is because I want you to pay attention to the enthusiasm, the eagerness, and the energy of these newer people. And I want you to compare it to the energy, enthusiasm, and tonality of yourself and your inner circle. I want you to recognize how things change as you evolve and become seasoned. I want you to remember how right now, like today, like literally put pause and then think about, well, what the fuck do I got today? What the fuck you got today are things you used to want in the past. And now you got them, you became content and so used to it that now your focus is on other things that you don't have. You see, a majority of the time we put our focus and our energy and our efforts towards things we don't have. What I'm telling you is that we should sometimes stop and hold back and appreciate the things that we do have. And so when you realize that you are above and beyond certain people, it is a breath of fresh air to go talk to those certain people and let them remind you of how you were when you started. This is what keeps me humble. This is what reminds me of how far I've come. And I don't mean to say I'm above and beyond you, boo-boo. What I'm talking about is that I got skill sets that put me above and beyond you, boo-boo. I'm not saying that I'm a fucking, you know what I mean? Like I'm better bougie bourgeois and shit. Like what I'm telling you is that what I did and the actions that I took and the experience that I shared brought me to where I am in this motherfucking race. And by the fucking way, it's not a fucking race. Everyone stop trying to get to that fast result. Like I'll help you get there smoother. I'll help you get there with less friction. I'll help you get there and have fun while doing it. But at the same time, you got to put in the work. You got to earn the stripes. And so if you want to experience that 5-figure a month lifestyle, if you want to experience that luxury freedom lifestyle, well then, but you got to back up your mouth with the motherfucking action. You have to literally put together a plan. And sometimes these plans, as you put them together, you may think that, oh, there's just no way this could happen. And so you have to fight that, because again, the hardest thing to really, you know, push past is ourselves, because ourselves is wired and programmed kind of like a computer, right? Like when you turn on your phone, it does a X amount of steps automatically because it's programmed that way. And so ourselves, we are also programmed a certain way. And this is why we brush our teeth with a specific toothpaste, or we brush our teeth with a specific hand, left hand or right hand, right? Like we get dressed in a certain way. We react in a certain way. We are just programmed like our fucking iPhones and our iPads. And when we realize that we can reprogram and reboot and rewrite our software, we can look and put two and two together and say, okay, well, before I didn't have this fucking Pokemon app or whatever the fucking new app it is, or fucking Bedazzled or Fruit Blitz or whatever fucking new application is out today. We have to remember, well, damn, I remember when our phone didn't have this app. As a matter of motherfucking fact, I remember when my phone didn't have a fucking touchscreen and I had that flip phone. Stop lying, you had a flip phone. Hey, which reminds me, man, I woke up and I had this quote in my head, and it came from a movie. I don't know why, I think I was dreaming about it, but if you can comment below and name this movie, right? Name the movie that this quote is from. Comment below and let me know what the name of the movie is, okay? If you get the right answer, I'm gonna hit you up and I'm gonna hook you up with something that's worth gold to you and to your daily process, right? So the quote that I woke up to is weird, because I literally woke up before my alarm clock. Opened my eyes and I was like, damn, look at those motherfucking wheels. like I'm in the process of looking for another car, right? So I think maybe that's why. I have no idea. Like, you ever wake up and you have no idea what you dreamt about, but you got like a little piece of it, and you're like, damn, what the hell was I dreaming about? And you want to remember it, but you can't, because it's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of like a riddle. Anyway, so the entire time as I'm brushing my teeth, because I'm wired to brush my teeth with my right hand, right, with my specific toothpaste and do certain actions. During the entire time, I was thinking, I was like, what the hell was I thinking about to think of that quote? So again, that quote is, and if you can name the movie, leave a comment below in the notes. Don't cheat, bruh. Don't look at everyone else's notes and be like, ooh, okay, I see this one answer the most. I'm gonna go and put that one just to try to win. It's gonna be a random winner to who can answer this right? So the quote is, damn, look at those motherfucking wheels. Man, I used to live by that statement, a long time ago. When the homie would sneak out a car, right, and they would come scoop us up at our friend's house, and so we used to plot, like, we didn't have we had pagers back then. We didn't have like cell phones or anything like that. Like, if we had to go use a phone, we had to use the phone in the house, or we had to go find a payphone booth. And so, like, before beepers or before cell phones, we used to have these toll-free voicemail boxes, right? Like, you would just, like, people would steal them, and then some people would come up with them and then just give them to you. And so I would imagine these businesses or whatever would buy these voicemails for like 2-year, 3-year contracts and pay it in full. And then if you found out the 4-digit code and changed that code, well, guess what, boo-boo, you own that fucking voicemail. And so there were one of these floating around, and we had one, and there's like a pocket of us that shared this voice message or this voicemail box. It was weird how we got by, but anyway, we would communicate with, there's just limited ways, but we figured it out, right? And so we just naturally adapt, but we were able to communicate with each other, where we can communicate with our friend 3 cities over, know that they're sneaking their mom or dad's car out, pick us up, 3 cities where we are, and then when they rolled up, you'd be like, damn, look at those motherfucking wheels. I laugh because I can visualize that part of the movie. So comment below and let me know if you know that part of the movie. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.